Hello everyone, Justin the Jade Carver here at Translucency Jade Jewelry. Today we're going to be doing a quick overview of what weathering is, what that does to our pieces of jade, what to look out for, and everything in between. So to get started, what is weathering? Weathering is this outer layer that you're going to see on a lot of pieces of jade. Some will have a thinner layer of it, some will be much more thick, and some might even penetrate directly into the piece. Weathering is from when the jade's in the ground and from seasons passing, or even when it's, still a metamorphic rock. From the heat, the pressure, mainly from weathering, is caused from the heat and cold, the frost thaw cycles, I believe they call it. That is going to cause this, I don't want to call it damage, but it causes inclusions, impurities, and other not-so-great factors that you want in your jade. So over time, as this heat and cooling process is happening from the seasons, or just it being in the ground over time while transforming into this beautiful piece of jade, the outermost layer will generally get the most of the weathering action. So generally you have what's called the meat, the pit, and the rind. So you have the meat, which is the inside of the jade. You have the pit, which is this layer right here, and then you have the rind, which would be the outside of the rock. So a lot of people don't use this for jewelry. Some do use it for carvings, for having like a two-tone. But generally when this weathering happens, you'll get a piece, depending on how far it goes in. Weathering can cause these fractures, it can cause impurities, and it generally goes off about, say about an inch from where the weathering is happening, or where that fracture is happening. It's very unfortunate, but honestly, it can be worked around, it can be used, it just depends on the artist, it depends what the jade's being used for. Is it a specimen? Is it being carved into jewelry? There's a lot of factors. If anyone's wondering, water imitates polish, I've mentioned it before, just like to give you guys an indication of what these things might look like if they were polished. Obviously this is one I would not polish. But weathering, it's super important because it can cause certain fractures, it can cause certain things that you may not want if you're buying a piece of jade to carve, to turn into a piece of jewelry. You may not have as much material as you're expecting, as you can kind of see with this piece, as you can see very well with this piece actually. Not all jade boulders will have weathering this thick. Some may only go a millimeter into it, or maybe not at all. There are boulders where the whole piece will get not infected, but affected. But otherwise, it's just something that you need to keep an eye for when looking for a piece of jade. When you look at this weathered piece versus this nice, beautiful green, just slightly on the other side, it's night and day. But weathering, if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. And make sure you guys stay safe out there, folks.